Hey, it's Marcia Grace here, your modern meditation mentor, because it's Friday, and here I am as always. And I today want to talk about something that's helping me as I recover from my major eye surgery. This eye here in, needed some major work, and so I can't see much. Everything is fuzzy, and the other eye isn't too good either. So I can't do much reading. I can't read. I can't drive. Things like that. So needless to say, that is causing me stress. And yes, I do get stressed. But the good news is for me that I have tools, and my favorite tool of all is A Course in Miracles, needless to say. That is the metaphysical teaching that has, I believe, saved my life, and as a result has been with me, and I've been teaching it and studying it for the last 40 plus years. Anyway, so today I want to talk about this idea. It's a concept of the three levels of awareness that the Course talks about, or as the Course uses the expression, the three worlds that we seem to inhabit. And I'll explain why that's helpful to know this. So the first level, or the first world, the world, as the Course calls it, quote unquote, is this place that we experience here in our physical body, and we're aware of it because it's right from the very beginning when we are apparently born into this world. We come in a separate body. It's a world of separation. It's a world of defense and offense, duality, if you will, because once you're in a body, anything can happen, and it does, right? It sure does. I'll vouch for that. And so we have all sorts of things to deal with in our bodies. And that, of course, extends to our relationships, to our health, to our mental wellness, all of those things. So that's the world. The world is really not a great place. It's not a nice place for many of us. It's filled with challenges. It's filled with suffering, pain, disappointment, frustration. I'm feeling a lot of that these days, and so it's not a place that's you would call naturally loving. And I'll get to that. This is my Debbie Downer part. Okay, so we appear to be living in this world of pain and suffering. And the Buddha said the same thing. This is a world of pain and suffering, and you have to muck through it. Okay, so that's the world, all right? Now there's the second. There's three parts, right? I said there's three levels, three worlds. So the third, I'm getting hearts I can see. I don't know who's sending them, but thank you so much for the hearts. I love them. I love them. So the second world, or level of consciousness, is what the Course calls the real world. Now, that's the same world that we're living in here in our separate bodies, but with a huge difference, because we're on our spiritual. The first, I forgot to mention this, that the levels really are about our spiritual journey from chaos to calm. So the world is chaos, and then we're moving toward that state of calm, which is the last level, which is called God's real world. And there's not a lot really to say about it, because once you get there, there's no, you made it, home run. So, but the first two worlds have a lot of levels within themselves. So because as you come into the world, you learn and you grow, and you learn to defend yourself, and you learn all the things you need to know. And, we start out, children are beautiful, they're adorable, but they are totally self-absorbed. But hopefully as you grow, you get to be more expansive, right? So you get to be more aware of other people around you, and form relationships, and perhaps marry and have a family, or become successful in business. Hopefully that's the case for you. And so those are all the levels within the world that we can work with. and get to a point where we are now ready, because now something in us, there's a spark in there that says, well, I'm doing great. Things are good, but something's missing. There's something missing here. I feel a hole. And that's when we really consciously begin our spiritual journey, which takes us to the next level, which is the real world. And the real world is that place where we begin the spiritual awakening to our higher self, to the awareness that we are part of something larger than ourselves. We are part of creation, consciousness. It doesn't matter what you call it. The names are unimportant. It's the experience, it's the understanding that counts. So that the real world is this place where we begin to acknowledge that we want to treat, it's incumbent upon us to treat people the way we want to be treated. So the golden rule really comes into effect here in a big way. So if I want to be loved, I have to express love. I have to give love to other people. And not in a have to, but a recognition that this is the way it works. To have peace and joy is to extend from yourself a loving demeanor. So, but it's hard, this is a learning process, because we start out, as I said, in a very defensive mode. And so to learn how to not be so defensive, not be so fearful or, judgmental and all the things that we are as separate beings. It takes a lot of work. It does, no question. You have to be willing. And I know it's taken me many years, and I'm not there yet. I have to admit it. I'm not totally there yet. A long way to go. But I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot calmer and more peaceful and accepting of situations such as I'm in right now, and able to get through it in a way that's it's a learning, to see it as a learning experience. Okay, everything here that we experience is a learning experience if you choose to see it that way. If you're back in the world there, you're not seeing it that way. You're seeing it as, oh no, another thing, and oh my God, and we're complaining and we're victims and the whole thing. But once you get to the real world, you begin to start to take that into your understanding that, oh, here's a learning experience, and what can I get from it? How can I grow from this experience? Well, what is there here to teach me? And so that's the process that we go through in the real world. We begin to see ourselves more as, and I made this quote the other day from the French metaphysician Teilhard de Chardin, who said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. It's temporary. He didn't say temporary. I added that. But anyway, that's the idea. And so we are really spiritual beings. So we're moving toward, when we've entered the confines of the real world, we're now recognizing that consciously, and we're moving toward that awareness of being a spiritual being rather than just a human being. And the reason you want to do that is because when you're a spiritual being, you are more aware of everything around you. You're more desirous of a peaceful solution to your problems. And you have fewer problems as a result, because things seem to iron themselves out. And that happens because you're now in communication with your higher self. And I teach a course to teach you how to do that, how to get in touch with that higher self. So if you're interested in that, drop me a note. Anyway, and so we're learning how to get in touch with our higher self. And when we do that, we get the answers very quickly, usually, to the situations that we confront, that we find ourselves in. And so peace becomes more and more a part of our day, as opposed to, fear and doubt and all the other stuff. And I see someone is sending me a message. I wish I could read it. I cannot, But I thank you for the message. And later on, when I go back and I look at this with my spyglass and my 8x magnification, or I get somebody to read it to me, I will respond. So thank you. All right, so that's the real world. So that's our next step. That's where we want to get to, and really that's what we're, from my point of view, that's what I'm here to do, is to get myself totally and completely in the real world, where I recognize myself as spirit. I recognize that everyone around me is also spirit, and that we're really all connected. We're all connected. Not physically, of course, not what our eyes see. We're connected by the very fact of our existence, that we are. As what was another Frenchman? All these Frenchmen were pretty smart, you know. And he said, "I think, therefore I am." Right? So I am. You know, I am. That's who we are. We are thinking beings, and we are beingness. We are just, and all of us are the same in that sense, you know. So it's only in the world back there, that we talked about, the first world, where there's levels and degrees, and we judge each other, and all that horrible stuff goes on. But once we get to the finer stages of the real world, all of that drops away. And it has no meaning. It's not important. It's not even, it doesn't enter the picture. So, and then the last step, and I'm going to cut it quick today because my arm hurts. I'm holding my phone here. My elbow hurts. The final step, the Course says God reaches down and pulls you up, which is a lovely metaphor, which simply says that we're ready. We're ready to go. And we just need that final bit of encouragement, which we get. Now, I want to mention one thing before I close, and that is, a lot of people feel that the wordage, of the Course is difficult, and it is for many people. And a lot of people are not comfortable with God anymore. They don't want to say God, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. You don't have to say God. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to, saying God doesn't make you spiritual, and not saying God does not make you not spiritual. Does that make sense? Anyway, you know what I mean. So that's what I want you to understand. It's not the words, it's the experience. So when you can say, I recognize that every person I come in contact with is my sibling. We all come from the same source. And when I can know that, believe me, it'll be a much more peaceful, your world will be much more peaceful, and you'll be able to bring that peace to the next person and the next person and so forth. So it's a beautiful thing, and that's what we want to get to. Now, the last world, of course, is God's real world, which is that world of total unity, okay? The world is the world of duality. We work through it, and we get to the world of unity, total and complete unity. That's God's real world. And that, as I said, there's very little to say about it because I'm not there. I don't know anybody else who is yet. And if they were, they wouldn't be talking to us because they would realize our oneness and whatever. So all we can know about it is that it is the ultimate experience of joy and peace. And I know this. You might say, well, how the heck do you know that? If you don't know what it is or never been there, how could you say that? And my answer to that is this. I know I was going to make this short, wasn't I? Oh, well. So I have nothing else to do because I can't read. But anyway, I say that because, think about this. God is creation, whether you call it God or creation or, I don't know, whatever, the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. We're here, right? At least I'm here. And I think I'm talking to some people. So we're here. And the fact that we're here says to me that there is a loving creator or source or whatever term you want to use, that manifested our beingness. And if that's the case, and the Course gives a beautiful argument for this. I wish I could remember it at this moment, but I don't. But it goes something along the lines of, what is loving is whole and complete. There's when you have only love, when there's only love, there's nothing else. But when there's duality, when there's unity is love, okay? When there's duality, then you have right and wrong, up and down, hot and cold, yes and no, and all that stuff. And so then you have life and death. Now, according to the Course, and according to this idea of God's real world, there is no death in God's real world. There isn't. There's no death. There's only life eternal. And if that's the case, then there can be nothing but love. And so God did not create an unloving world. And that's what we want to get to. So, but we don't have to worry about that, okay? Don't worry about that now today. It's not a concern. Let's just work on making this a better world, making ourselves better, and getting to the real world, okay? All right, so I just want to close. I want to say, if you are interested in knowing more about A Course in Miracles, I will be continuing once I get my vision back. I will be continuing the classes that we started. I call them gatherings, Miracle Mastery Mind gatherings. There will be information here on my Facebook that you can see. And so stay tuned for that information. And if you want to know more about A Course in Miracles, and you want to read, you want to start reading it perhaps, or maybe you have the books and maybe haven't cracked them or haven't started the lessons, you can read my book here. Back there, it's Calm, Creative, Joyful. And what that book is about the lessons. So it's like a daily primer on each lesson that you can, that it will help you go along as you do the workbook lessons to understand them. So you can pick that up on Amazon or wherever. Okay, so that's my message for today. And as I always say, remember, everything begins with a thought. So I want you to notice your thoughts, because as you begin to notice your thoughts, you're going to see how many thoughts are not serving you well. And you're going to want to have to release those, okay? So have a beautiful, it's gorgeous here on Long Island today. Absolutely summer day. Beautiful. Have a beautiful day, beautiful Friday, and a beautiful week and weekend ahead until we meet again. Bye-bye.